This is the disclaimer for Wildlife Control Consultant and Pest Geek Podcast for the Living the Wildlife podcast. Always follow national, state, provincial, and local laws when using pesticides and/or other control methods to manage pests. Wildlife Control Consultant, LLC, Pest Geek Podcast, Living the Wildlife Podcast, Stephen M. Van Tassel, or their or his affiliates are not responsible for followers' use of the information provided here.
Stephen Van Tassel here, Wildlife Control Consultant. I just recently had some XCLUDER garage door seals installed on my garage. Yeah, I had to hire it out because my garage doors, of course, had to be a little unusual, and the label said on my garage door, not XCLUDER, that you needed to probably be careful because things were under tension and I didn't have enough experience to deal with that, so I didn't want to get whacked in the head, so I had them professionally installed. And so I'm a big fan of XCLUDER products, but I wanted to sort of reach out to people that are looking to use XCLUDER products, especially for garage doors, because garage doors are a constant pain in the butt for excluding rodents. So we want to make sure that we tell people to, of course, get their garage doors sort of sealed up, and so XCLUDER is just one of the products that are used to get that door seal on the concrete. So I had that installed, and guy did an okay job, but I wanted to let you know of some of the challenges that you may encounter if you're trying to do this yourself. And so let me turn my screen around here and we'll get this resolved. Alright, so we're here at my garage door. Let me kind of get a little closer for you. You can see how the rubber has sort of reached out and curled up and now caused a gap that it's big enough to allow a mouse to get in. And it's even big enough underneath the garage door I can stick my finger underneath. That clearly is an issue. And to kind of give you another view of it, you can see on this side how we have this gapping that's occurred. So I don't know the complete solution for that, but it has been a problem. And by the way, for this particular garage door, this wasn't a big issue initially. The actual bigger issue was on, this is my garage door for my vehicle, and you can see how we have a gap here as well, and of course a gap underneath as well. Finger in, finger in. That shouldn't be like that. So I'm not here to bash XCLUDER products here. I am a fan. I'm just telling you that you got to make sure that when you're installing them that you're going to get what you hope for out of it. And so my door, just in fairness, was a little bit longer. It required 2 rows. They come in strips, and mine required 2 rows because it was actually a row and a half, but you have to buy 2. So mine was obviously a little bit bigger than some other doors, and so I'm told by my door guy that these are standard size doors. I'll take him at his word for that, but just so you know, I mean, I had to spend a couple $100s for the material and then about $400 to have things installed and have some other work done on the doors. So, and I'm not getting the mouse control that I'm looking for. And I'll take you inside and have you see the light coming in from the outside in, which is one of the ways you can help tell that there's a problem here, and we will show you that in a moment. We're inside the garage now, and I wanted to show you how much daylight's coming in, because daylight is one of the clues you can look for seeing gaps where mice can get inside of the structure. So let me show you my finger here to give you some scale. You can see how my finger is able to kind of get past the door there. Clearly, that is not accomplishing the goal that I want. Let me show you the other side. And here again, you can see my bait station there. This is not accomplishing the goal that I want with these particular door covers. I mean, excuse me, the XCLUDER door jamb gaps. So I would like to just warn everybody, make sure everything's going to fit properly before you spend the money to have it installed, because I think the XCLUDER products are good. Just make sure that you install them correctly. Otherwise, you're spending money and not getting a benefit in the long run for yourself. So just keep that in mind. I'm Stephen Van Tassel, Wildlife Control Consultant. Do subscribe to my channel, check out my website, and subscribe to my blog, wildlifecontrolconsultant.com. If you need to reach out to me, wildlife control consultant at gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Till next time, be safe. Hi, Stephen Van Tassel here, Wildlife Control Consultant. In a previous video, I talked about having a strip installed on my garage doors from XCLUDER, and the problem that we had is that they were bulging out and it was causing a massive gap located over here. And we've now, if you compare the earlier video with what you see now, you can see that there's been a substantial reduction in that gap. And it's because one of the commenters talked about putting a screw in the bottom of the stripping. And so I finally got a chance to try it out, and lo and behold, it worked. Now there's still a little bit of a gap, as you can see. I get my finger in there, but part of that's because because this has been kind of bowed out over time, because it went through the whole winter. So I'm not blaming this now, but if I could have changed this sooner, this gap wouldn't have occurred. But I think over time this will begin to tighten up a little bit more. But I wanted to show you what we did. We put a screw. I used a screw right up here. Let me get a pointer. I used a self-tapping screw. So it's a little hard to do, and you want to probably use a washer, and you kind of have to gauge it, sort of move the rubber in to where you want it, and then sort of seal it there. That way it's not curving up and creating a big gap. So it worked, and then we're going to close the garage door and show you how much darker it is, so we have a comparison. And if you can look over here, you can see how much less light is coming in now than if you saw before. So it's been a substantial improvement, so I wanted to give a shout out to the individual for that particular tip on making a little modification to that little weather stripping in the bottom of our garage door, because otherwise I was quite disappointed with it. So make sure you're ready if you find it sort of curving up, so you have your flat portion here. Sometimes if there's too much rubber, it'll curve up and create a gap between the door jamb. And so you basically just put a screw in the rubber to keep it from curling up for you. And it worked like a charm, and I'm not very handy. So kudos to that particular person who gave me that suggestion. Check it out for yourself.